My name is Margaret. I'm 88 years old, and for 40 years I let them believe a lie. Not because I meant to, not because I planned it that way, but because once it started, I didn't know how to stop it. And then one day, it had been so long that the truth felt more dangerous than the silence. I'm recording this now because I don't know how much time I have left, and because I'm tired. Tired of carrying it. Tired of watching them live inside a story that isn't real. I don't know if they'll ever hear this. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But I need to say it out loud, even if it's just to this camera. Even if it's just to myself. It started in 1985, April, a Tuesday afternoon. I remember because it was the day my husband, Robert, didn't come home. He left for work that morning like he always did, kissed me on the forehead, said he'd be home by 6. He never came back. The police found his car 2 days later, parked at a rest stop 3 hours north. No note, no signs of struggle, no body. Just his jacket folded neatly on the passenger seat. For weeks I waited. I kept his dinner warm every night. I left the porch light on. I told myself he'd come back, that there was an explanation, that he wouldn't just leave me, leave us. We had 2 children. Michael was 12, Sarah was 9. But he didn't come back. And after a while, the questions started. From the neighbors, from his family, from my own children. Mom, where's Dad? Why isn't he here? Did something happen to him? I didn't know what to tell them. So I told them what I believed, or what I wanted to believe. I told them he was missing, that something must have happened, an accident, something terrible, that he didn't leave us, that he wouldn't do that. And they believed me, because why wouldn't they? I was their mother, I was his wife, and the story I told them made sense. It was the story that let us keep loving him. But 6 months later, I found the letter. It was in a box in the attic, hidden under old tax returns and photographs, an envelope with my name on it in his handwriting. I don't know why I opened it. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. It was short, just a few lines. He said he was sorry. He said he couldn't do it anymore. He said he needed to start over, somewhere no one knew him. He said he loved me, but not enough to stay. I sat on the attic floor and read it 3 times, and then I folded it back up, and I hid it again. I told myself I would tell them, that they deserved to know, that it wasn't fair to let them think their father was taken from them when the truth was he chose to leave. But I couldn't, because if I told them, it would break something. It would change the way they remembered him. It would take away the version of their father they still loved. So I didn't say anything. I let them keep believing he was missing, that he was a victim of something beyond his control, that somewhere, maybe, he was still out there, still thinking of us, and I became the keeper of the lie. The years passed. Michael grew up, got married, had children of his own. Sarah became a teacher, moved to another state. They both carried their father with them, not as a man who abandoned them, but as a man who was taken. They spoke about him with sadness, yes, but also with love,
with the kind of reverence you have for someone you lost too soon. And I let them, because I told myself it was kinder this way, that the truth would only hurt them, that they were better off not knowing. But the older I got, the heavier it became. Every time they mentioned him, I felt it. Every time Sarah said, "I wish we knew what happened." Every time Sarah said, "I just want to know he didn't suffer." I wanted to tell her. I wanted to say, he didn't suffer. He chose this. But I couldn't, because by then it had been 10 years, then 20, then 30. And how do you tell your children after 30 years that the story they've been living inside isn't true? There were moments when I almost told them, close calls, times when the weight of it pressed so hard against my chest I thought I might collapse if I didn't let it out. One night, maybe 15 years ago, Michael and I were sitting on my back porch. It was late. His kids were asleep inside. He looked out at the yard and said, "You know, Mom, I used to be so angry at God for taking Dad." I didn't say anything. He kept going. "But I'm not anymore. I think I've made peace with it, with not knowing." I should have told him then, right then. But I looked at his face and I saw how much lighter he seemed, how he'd finally let go of the anger. And I thought, if I tell him now, I'll give it all back to him. I'll hand him a new kind of pain. So I stayed quiet. Sarah was harder. She never made peace with it the way Michael did. She still searched for him, even into her 40s. She'd call me sometimes and say, "Mom, I found a website for missing persons. I uploaded his picture." Or, "I hired someone, a private investigator, just to see if there's anything we missed." And every time I'd say, "Okay, honey, let me know what they find," knowing they'd find nothing, knowing there was nothing to find. But I never stopped her, because stopping her would have meant explaining why. And I couldn't do that. The lie became part of me. It shaped the way I moved through the world. I became someone who was very good at not saying things, at letting silences sit, at nodding when I should have spoken. I think over time it changed me, made me smaller, more careful, less honest, even about small things. Because once you let one big lie live in, it's easier to let the smaller ones in too. Robert never came back. I never heard from him again. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know if he ever thought about us, if he ever regretted it, if he ever wanted to reach out but didn't know how. Or maybe he just moved on, started a new life like he said he would, and forgot about the one he left behind. I used to hate him for that, for making me the one who had to carry it, for leaving me with the choice of whether to protect our children or tell them the truth. But I don't hate him anymore. I'm too tired for that. Now I just wonder if I made the right choice, if keeping the lie was an act of love or an act of cowardice. Maybe it was both. 3 months ago, Sarah called me. She said she'd been going through some old family documents, tax records, insurance papers, things I'd kept in boxes and never looked at again. She said, "Mom, I found something." My heart stopped. I thought maybe she'd found the letter, that after all these years it was finally going to come out, not because I told her, but because I hadn't hidden it well enough. But it wasn't the letter. It was a bank statement from 1986, a withdrawal, a large one, from an account I didn't know Robert had. She asked me about it, said it seemed strange, said maybe it was a clue. I told her I didn't know, that I'd never seen it before. But I did. I knew exactly what it was. It was the money he took when he left, the money he used to start over. And I realized in that moment that the truth was starting to leak out on its own, that I wouldn't be able to hold it back much longer. I think that's when I decided to record this, not because I'm ready to tell them, but because I need to say it out loud, even if they never hear it, even if I delete this as soon as I'm done. I let them believe a lie for 40 years. And I don't know if that makes me a good mother or a terrible one.